Overheard fiancé. Saying he's just a rich idiot, I'll dump him after the wedding. I canceled everything quietly. Next morning, I had 50+ hysterical missed calls from her and her mother, asking why the venue was locked. I, 32M, am, or rather was, engaged to Gemma, 29F. Wedding was supposed to be in 3 months. Big affair, mostly because her mother, Pamela, 50SF, usually goes by Pam, insisted. I make decent money, not mega rich, but comfortable enough that footing the bill for the venue, the caterer, the fancy floral arrangements wasn't breaking the bank, though it definitely wasn't insignificant either. Let's just say it was well into 5 figures. Gemma seemed happy. I thought we were happy. Cut to 3 nights ago. I came home early from a work thing, a project wrapped sooner than expected. Let myself in quietly, planning to surprise Gemma. Heard her chatting loudly in the living room, clearly on speakerphone with her best friend, Megan, 29F, the maid of honor. Gemma was laughing. Then I heard the words that stopped me cold in the hallway. Gemma. Honestly, Megan, sometimes I wonder how he even functions. He just agrees to whatever Mum and I want. It's almost too easy. Megan, laughing. Well, ride that gravy train, girl. Gemma. Oh, I am. He's just a rich idiot, bless his heart. Couple more months, get that ring, the big party, the gifts. Then I'll dump him after the wedding dust settles. Maybe 6 months? A year? Depends on how long I can stand pretending. My blood ran cold. Not exaggerating. It was like a physical shock. Rich idiot. Dump him after the wedding. It wasn't even said in anger or frustration. It was casual. Calculated. Like discussing the weather. I didn't storm in. Didn't shout. What would be the point? I backed out silently, went to a hotel in the city center. My mind was surprisingly clear. Hurt? Yeah, underneath. But mostly, it was this weird, calm certainty. She'd shown me exactly who she was. Believing her was the least I could do. Spent the next 36 hours on the phone and online. She wouldn't have necessarily noticed I wasn't at the apartment immediately. I often have late nights with project deadlines, sometimes staying near the office if it gets really late, so me being out of pocket for a day or so wasn't unusual. Methodically. Venue, the Grand Oak Pavilion. Called, canceled. Ate the 5K deposit. Confirmed via email. Caterer, Savory Bites. Called, canceled. Lost another 2.5K deposit. Confirmed. Florist. Canceled. Lost $500 deposit. Confirmed. Photographer. Canceled. Lost 1K deposit. Confirmed. Honeymoon. Maldives trip. Canceled flights and the overwater bungalow. Got about 70% back thanks to travel insurance I thankfully bought. Still a hit, but better than nothing. The dress. This was tricky. It was a custom job, some designer Pam insisted on. I'd paid for it directly via my card, and 8K. Called the boutique, explained the situation, vaguely, wedding postponed indefinitely. Asked if pickup could be put on hold or if they could contact Gemma directly for future payment/pickup arrangements, as I would no longer be covering it. They were sympathetic but non-committal, said they'd note the account. Fine. Her car lease. Okay, this one felt petty, but hearing rich idiot kind of flipped a switch. The lease for the nice little SUV she drove was under my name, as a perk early in the relationship. I didn't cancel the lease, that's messy, but I contacted the leasing company and informed them I would not be renewing it when it expires in 2 months, and requested transfer of liability paperwork be sent to Gemma's email, as she would need to secure her own financing if she wished to keep it. Minor, but symbolic. Didn't contact her. Didn't contact Pam. Just cut the strings. Total deposit loss was around 9K, plus the partial loss on the honeymoon. Expensive lesson, but infinitely cheaper than marrying her. Went back to my apartment yesterday evening. Gemma still has her own place, but stayed over a lot. Her stuff is still here. Ignored it. Slept surprisingly well. Woke up this morning around 8 a.m. Checked my phone. 53 missed calls. About 30 from Gemma, 20 from Pamela, 3 from Megan. Voicemails ranging from confused, "Hey, call me," to worried, "Is everything okay?" to increasingly panicked, "Why is the venue coordinator saying it's canceled? Call me," to full-blown hysterical, "Gemma is crying her eyes out. The venue is locked. What the hell did you do?" Haven't responded yet. Just listening to the voicemails again. The sheer entitlement underneath the panic is something else, like I'm malfunctioning property. What now? IDK. Wait for them to show up here, I guess. Gotta figure out how to get her stuff out. Need to change the locks. But honestly, mostly I just feel quiet. Update 1. Okay, wow. Thanks for the comments and DMs on the first post. Didn't expect that level of support. Felt good not to be alone in thinking this wasn't some massive overreaction on my part. So, the update. As expected, they showed up. Not even 24 hours after the barrage of calls. I was working from home. Heard the frantic buzzing on the intercom. Let them up. Probably shouldn't have, but honestly, I wanted this over with. My heart was definitely pounding as they came up the elevator. Adrenaline, I guess, but I focused on staying level. Gemma, Pamela, and trailing behind like a resentful shadow, Megan. Gemma had clearly been crying. Puffy eyes, red nose. Pamela looked like she could chew nails. Megan just looked awkward but defiant, like she was there as backup. Pamela started immediately, no preamble. "What the hell is wrong with you? You cancel the venue? The caterers? Without even talking to us?" Her voice was shrill. It took effort not to react to her volume, just kept my own voice calm. I stayed calm. Gestured for them to sit. They didn't. "I canceled everything because the wedding is off." Gemma burst into tears. "Why? What did I do? Was it something I said? We can fix it." Me. "You could say that. Specifically, it was you telling Megan, and I quote, 'He's just a rich idiot. I'll dump him after the wedding. I overheard you 3 nights ago.'" Silence. Absolute, ringing silence. Gemma's face went white. Megan suddenly found the carpet pattern fascinating. Pamela's jaw tightened. Gemma, stammering, I didn't mean it like that. It was just girl talk. You weren't supposed to hear. It was a stupid joke." Me. "It didn't sound like a joke, Gemma. It sounded like a plan. A 6-month to 1-year plan specifically." Pamela jumped back in, switching tactics. "You're throwing away this beautiful future. Our families merging. Everything Gemma deserves. Over one comment you took out of context?" Me. "There's no context that makes rich idiot I'll dump after the wedding okay, Pam. None. The wedding is off. All the deposits I paid are gone. The honeymoon is canceled." Gemma, sobbing. "But my dress, the guests, what will people think?" Me. "They'll think the wedding is off. As for the dress, I paid £8,000 for it. The boutique has been informed I'm no longer funding it. You'll need to arrange payment if you still want it." Pamela, voice rising. "You expect her to pay for it now? After you canceled everything? You owe her this wedding." Me. "I owe her nothing. She made it clear how she views me in this relationship. I'm just saving us both time." Then came the predictable play. Gemma, clutching her stomach, tears streaming. I think I might be pregnant." I didn't react externally, though inside I just thought, of course. "If that turns out to be true, Gemma, we'll deal with it. A paternity test will be required, and I'll support my child. But it doesn't change the fact that we are not getting married. Ever." That seemed to deflate her more than anything. Maybe she expected me to melt, declare my undying love, and reinstate the wedding plans on the spot. Pamela started yelling then, about how I was cruel, heartless, how they'd invested so much emotionally, how I'd regret this. Megan chimed in about how Gemma loved me so much and I was making a huge mistake. It was a chorus of entitlement and manipulation. I just stood there, let them wind down. Finally, I said, "I think you should all leave now. Gemma, text me a time you want to come get your things. I'll leave them packed outside the door. Pamela looked like she was going to explode. You haven't heard the last of this. We'll sue you. We'll tell everyone what you did. Me. Tell them what? That I canceled a wedding after hearing my fiancée call me a rich idiot she planned to dump? Go ahead. Be my guest. They left, sputtering threats and insults. The silence afterwards was deafening. Changed the locks that afternoon. Yes, the locksmith checked my ID and tenancy agreement thoroughly. Felt a pang of sadness, not for losing her, but for the future I thought I had. But mostly, relief. Clean break. Or so I thought. The smear campaign apparently started almost immediately online, according to a mate. Vague posts about being left high and dry, hints of emotional instability on my part. Didn't engage. Let them spin their tires. They have no idea I'm just getting started. The $9K in deposits was just the entry fee. The rich idiot is about to manage his assets. Update 2. It's been a whirlwind month. Thanks again for the sanity check, Reddit. Navigating this mess felt less isolating knowing strangers on the internet agreed Gemma and Cody were offside. So, the fallout. As predicted, Gemma, Pamela, and even Megan went on a minor social media tear. Vague booking about heartbreak, betrayal, LOL, and how some people, gee, wonder who, weren't who they seemed. Lots of sad selfies from Gemma, comments from Pam about my poor baby, and Megan about standing by my girl. A few mutual friends messaged me asking what was up. My move? No drama, no public posts. I drafted a simple, factual email. Sent it to the wedding guests who had already RSVP'd or who contacted me directly. Subject: wedding cancellation update. Body basically said, regretfully, the wedding is off. I discovered fundamental incompatibilities in our views on the relationship and our future, including financial motivations I wasn't previously aware of. This was confirmed by statements I directly overheard. While painful, canceling was the necessary and honest step. I wish Gemma well in her future endeavors. Short, factual, no mudslinging, but planted the seed. Financial motivations and statements overheard. Let people connect the dots. It worked better than I expected. The truth trickled out. Friends who got the email compared notes with those who only saw Gemma's vague posts. People started asking her questions. The narrative shifted. Heard through the grapevine that several bridesmaids distanced themselves. Megan is apparently still ride or die, but most saw through the BS. Pamela's attempts to paint me as a monster fell flat when people realized why I pulled the plug. Now, the tangible consequences. The revenge part, if you will. Though honestly, it felt more like balancing the books. The dress. Gemma never contacted the boutique to arrange payment. After a couple of weeks, I sent her, via registered mail, requiring a signature, a formal letter demanding either proof she had paid for and collected the £8,000 dress, or the return of the dress to the boutique so I could potentially recoup something from them, unlikely as it was, or payment of the £8,000 directly to me within 14 days. Included a copy of the credit card statement showing I paid. Heard from a mutual acquaintance she threw a fit, called me petty. Pamela apparently called my parents trying to get them to intervene. They told her politely but firmly to sod off. Result? Crickets for 13 days. On day 14, £8,000 landed in my account via bank transfer. No note, fine by me. Her stuff. She texted demanding to get her things. I gave her a 2-hour window the following Saturday. Boxed up everything. Clothes, makeup, toiletries. Yes, the half-used shampoo. Knickknacks she'd left, even a couple of old paperbacks. Labeled them clearly. Left them stacked neatly outside my apartment door in the hallway, right before the window started. Watched from the peephole as she and Megan arrived, looking furious, grabbed the boxes, and left without a word. Impersonal. Final. Felt good. The car lease. Follow-up. Remember the SUV lease in my name? The non-renewal notice I initiated meant Gemma had 2 months from when I sent it to figure things out. Apparently, she and Pamela Tried calling the leasing company multiple times trying to get it extended under my name, claiming it was a misunderstanding. The company, having my formal notice, directed them back to the transfer of liability process. She texted me once, a week before the lease ended, asking if I could please just extend it for a few months while she got back on her feet. I replied with a simple, "No, liability transfer paperwork was sent to your email weeks ago." Heard later she had to return the SUV and was scrambling for transport. Another string cut. The parting gift, the chef's kiss. This was the kicker. About a week after the confrontation, I got a fraud alert email from my credit card company. Suspicious online transaction attempt. $600 at a high-end online clothing store. I hadn't used that card online recently. Logged in, saw the attempt, declined. And guess what? The shipping address on the attempted order was Gemma's apartment. She still had my card details saved on that site from previous gifts. She actually tried one last dip into the rich idiot's wallet after everything went down. The sheer audacity. I didn't hesitate. Called the credit card company, confirmed it was fraudulent. Explained the situation briefly, ex-fiancée, unauthorized use post-breakup. They flagged it, canceled my card, issued a new one. Then I filed a police report online. Just the facts. Date, time, amount, merchant, unauthorized user, Gemma, address linked to the attempt. Did I expect the Met to rappel down to her flat? No. Cops realistically have bigger fish to fry, and proving intent versus, oops, wrong saved card can be tricky without a pattern. But you know what? It created a record. It forced the bank's fraud department to take it seriously. They immediately finalized the fraud claim in my favor. And maybe, just maybe, having a police report number tied to her name for attempted card fraud might be a nice little cherry on top if she ever needs a background check. It was the principle. You call me an idiot while planning to use my money, then actually try to use it after being caught? Nah. Consequences. Life now? Quieter. Definitely more peaceful. Blocked Gemma, Pamela, and Megan everywhere. The $9K loss on deposits still stings a bit, but every time I think about it, I just hear her voice saying, "Rich idiot," and consider it the best money I ever spent. Dodged a lifetime of that. I'm focusing on work, hitting the gym, reconnecting with mates who got pushed aside during wedding planning madness. Not jumping into dating, just enjoying the calm. Heard Gemma had to move back in with Pamela temporarily. Guess blowing up her engagement, losing the SUV, and potentially having a fraud attempt tied to her name didn't do wonders for her finances or prospects. Couldn't happen to a nicer person. They got exactly what their actions warranted. The rich idiot is doing just fine.